And from Parliament, welcome to Joy News at 8. My name is Evans Mensah.
And I'm Derek Walalom Johnson. We're going to be with you for the next 60 minutes.
And as you just witnessed, Bank of Ghana Governor Kwesi Amissah-Arthur is Ghana's new vice president, barring just his swearing in.
The question centered on the falling value of the cedi, corruption and his sexuality. We'll be taking a look at all that. In business, retired economics Professor Emmanuel Jackson takes a swipe at the introduction of supplementary budgets. In plain language, he says it's a sign of poor planning.
In entertainment, South Africa's only surviving representative in the Big Brother house, Keegan, wins Big Brother Africa Star Game competition. He takes home the grand prize of $300,000.
And in sports, Ghana's sole representative at this season's CAF Champions League, Brecon Chelsea, returned home after a humiliating 4-1 defeat.
And we'll return to Parliament shortly once our swearing in begins. But first, Cape Coast have hailed the nomination of Kwesi Amissah-Arthur as the Vice President of Ghana. They tasked him to use his position to implement several infrastructure development in Cape Coast in order to fast-track its development. The mother of the Vice President nominee, Effie Amissah-Arthur, also charged her son to be focused and not to be swayed by dissenting comments from a section of the public.
The reception was warm, the memories thrilling, and discussions very engaging as Madam Effie Amissah-Arthur, the mother of Ghana's incoming Vice President, spent some time with us to share some fondest memories of the childhood days of Kwesi Amissah-Arthur.
My son. We trained him. We are Christian home. She was so quiet. He hardly speaks. And he is not selfish. I can guarantee that. Give him some work and he will do it perfectly well. So responsible. So respectful. He's selfless. He's selfless. He can give whatever he has to his younger brothers. That's what I learned from him. So truthful. I trust him.
Glancing through some photo albums with nostalgia and with tears in her eyes, Madam Effie said she had trained her son to be God-fearing and diligent in all his ways, and she no doubt believes he will succeed in his new role as Vice President of Ghana.
This work is from God, but I'm not interested in politics, especially Ghana politics. The insults, and somebody will insult you and he will tell all manners of words, even he didn't know you. He hasn't seen you before, but he will tell you. This is why I don't like the politics. But after second thought, I thought it's wise that I have to give my consent, because maybe there is some potential in him that God may use him to do something good in Ghana. God may use him to put one or things right in Ghana, in politics in Ghana. That's all my prayer.
Let's join us on Multi TV, and we're going back right to the Parliament House, where Kwesi Amissah-Arthur will be sworn in as Vice President of the Republic of Ghana.
Parliament House, to be precise, the floor of Parliament, where the Chief Justice has already taken her seat. The Speaker of Parliament has already also taken her seat. The one left is the Vice President nominee, who has just been approved by Parliament by consensus. The practice is that he is going to be invited to the floor to take his seat, and then the initiation will take place.
To be administered by the Chief Justice.
To the podium. The Chief Justice is about to administer the oath. This is the Joy News channel on Multi TV. You're also live on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's move on to the podium.
I receive the Queen Emisa Arthur.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established.
That I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana.
That I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana.
And that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
And defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Vice President.
Now the oath of the Vice President is being administered.
I receive the Queen Emisa Arthur.
Having been appointed to the office of Vice President of the Republic of Ghana.
Having been appointed to the office of Vice President of the Republic of Ghana.
Pursuant to Article 60(10) of the 1992 Constitution.
Pursuant to Article 60(10) of the 1992 Constitution.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
That I will be faithful and true to the Republic of Ghana.
That I will be faithful and true to the Republic of Ghana.
That I will at all times preserve.
That I will at all times preserve,
protect,
and
defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
And defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
And that
I
dedicate myself to the service and well-being of the people of the Republic of Ghana.
I dedicate myself to the service and well-being of the people of the Republic of Ghana.
And to do right to all manner of persons.
And to do right to all manner of persons.
I further solemnly swear.
I further solemnly swear.
That should I at any time break this oath of office.
That should I at any time break this oath of office.
I shall submit myself to the laws of the Republic of Ghana.
I shall submit myself to the laws of the Republic of Ghana.
And suffer the penalty for it.
And suffer the penalty for it.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, God.
Kwesi Amissah-Arthur just swore the oath of office, which is the official rite of passage from his previous status into his new one as Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Some signing ceremony is currently underway, and he's been directed as to which specific portions of whatever document is before them he is supposed to sign by the Chief Justice of the Republic, and he is continuing to do that. The time is 25 minutes past 8. If you're listening to us, you're live on Joy FM. You're also live on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. I'm sure for those watching on TV, they could catch a glimpse of the expression on the faces of the family members of Mr. Kwesi Amissah-Arthur when the oath was being administered. They were seated very attentively with their focus on His Excellency the Vice President. I can imagine it must have been quite an emotional period for them. He is now going to occupy arguably the second most powerful seat in Ghana. So chiming sounds and other musical instruments telling us that His Excellency Kwesi Amissah-Arthur has now occupied the second most powerful seat of the land. Some of you are watching. Does he appear comfortable on the seat?
Well, it appears that he's a little bit nervous, but he's managed to put on a smile, which is quite interesting. And he's settling in that chair comfortably. Of course, arguably, this is the first time he's getting the opportunity to sit in the Vice President's chair. And I must say it's an elegant chair. I mean, it's like a golden stool. Yeah. I do not know what the colors symbolize, but in between you have blue, and I'm wondering what that signifies.
I take this opportunity on my own behalf and on behalf of the House to congratulate you on your assumption of the high office of Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. On this historic and momentous occasion, we wish you well in your service to Mother Ghana in your new role. Your Excellency, once again, accepts our congratulations. Excellency, may I now invite you to say a few words to the House. Excellency.
Has now invited His Excellency the Vice President of the Republic to say a few words following his approval and consequent swearing in to occupy the position
Madam
of
Speaker,
Vice President.
the Ladyship, the Chief Justice, let me begin by thanking His Excellency the President for doing me this great honor by nominating me for this position. I also would like to thank this honorable House, the members of this House, for doing something that is unprecedented in the history of our country. It's a unique occasion, and this is the first time that this has happened. And the show of unanimity that the House has exhibited and the unity that has that this has occasioned. So I'm very happy that that the unity that has occurred as a result of the sad event 2 weeks ago is exhibiting itself here. Thank you very much. Finally, these are very few words. I wish to extend hands of friendship to the many people across this country who in the last week have sent me many messages of encouragement and prayers, especially the clergy, for their words. I hope that I can continue to rely on your prayers for the work that is ahead of us. Thank you
Thank you very much.
So that was a pretty straightforward, very succinct, snappy comment by His Excellency the Vice President Kwesi Amissah-Arthur. Indeed, he was invited to do so by the Speaker of Parliament after he was sworn in by the Chief Justice. If you're hearing us on your radio, you must be doing so on 99.7 FM.
The House is adjourned, Sanadai.
Let's hear this.
And I thank you.
Essentially, the whole proceeding has come to an end, and the Speaker is going to walk out of the chamber, accompanied by the Vice President, then followed by the Chief Justice. This is how it's done in Parliament House. Once what is important is done, the Speaker has to adjourn sitting. I mean, it's been a tiring day.
It is.
I mean
it has.
From morning around 9 a.m. and it's almost getting to 9 p.m. It's taking quite a while for this occasion to come to an end. Like he said, this is unprecedented, so sometimes we need to accommodate these challenges that come up. But it's been worthwhile. It's been a very important ceremony that almost everybody has been quite anxious. I'm waiting to see that it comes to a successful end. So, like we were telling listeners, right now the Speaker and leadership of the House are moving out of the chamber, and before that, any other person can then proceed out of the House.
Sammy, it's quite interesting, isn't it, that a couple of people want to make their way out of the chamber, and they're having a difficulty doing so. What accounts for that? What's the practice?
Well, the practice is that you wait for the Speaker of Parliament to leave. You have to even stand and allow the Speaker to leave. It's a sign of respect. You show that to the Speaker and her entourage. When they leave, then any other person can leave this particular chamber. So the news is that Kwesi Amissah-Arthur is now the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. In fact, you need to add His Excellency to his name from today.
With effect from now, his name will be His Excellency the Vice President Kwesi Amissah-Arthur. My name is Bernard Nasser Asaibu. I've been here with Sammy Darko and Matilda. Together with the team, we've been bringing you live coverage of the vetting, the approval and consequent swearing in of His Excellency the Vice President Kwesi Amissah-Arthur. We're returning to our studios at 355 Fraunhofer Street, where programming will continue.
Well, we are back to the studios from the Parliament House. It's been a successful day, if you ask me. I don't know what you make of this very transition since the demise of the late President Mills.
It's been a historical moment. And today we saw the climaxing of all that, where the Vice President being sworn in. Tomorrow, he's not longer going to be called a nominee or a designate. He's going to be called Vice President Kwesi Amissah-Arthur.
His Excellency.
His Excellency. That is a huge title that has been bestowed upon him today. And in his very brief speech, he thanked the President for nominating him. Again, thanked the House for the unanimous nature in which this whole process was carried out. Again, when you recall when the Speaker came and said, for those of you who are in favor, say aye, had a unanimous aye. And then when she said, for those of you who are against, say no or nay, we had a tiny no, just a single voice, exactly, saying nay. And then he extends a hand of friendship to all those who supported him through this very difficult process. So indeed, we've gone to a very historical stage. And from tomorrow, we are going to witness a new phase in our democratic dispensation. Two key things now awaits us. One is a funeral that is going to happen on Friday. And then secondly, the question about whether he's going to be nominated again as the running mate is the next debate that we are going to have. But it's an exciting day, filled with a lot of history.
Very successful. Well, this is Joy News, live on Joy News channel on Multi TV. We'll move on to other stories, and His Excellency, the Vice President Kwesi Amissah-Arthur, has defended Ghana's economy and the currency under his stewardship as governor of the central bank. Joy News has been finding out from political parties how Amissah-Arthur fared at the vetting.
Amissah-Arthur answered questions on the state of Ghana's economy, the cedi, his personal achievements, and even his sexuality. On a scale of 1 to 10, PNC's National Vice Chairman David Nibi rates Amissah-Arthur's performance at 8. According to him, the vice presidential nominee answered questions posed to him satisfactorily.
I personally was impressed with the way he handled those things. Now, that showed that he's somebody who has what it takes to tackle the economic issues of this country. The main problem of this country has to do with the national economy. So if we have somebody like that who can help manage the economy properly, I think the president made a good choice.
The CPP and PPP have also indicated that they are impressed with his performance.
The nominee was confident about with his answers. He knew his portfolio as far as being a governor was concerned. And in the area of economics, he was very good at explaining some of the figures and the terminologies that came with it.
Well, as far as we can tell, I think things went smoothly. I am not privy to the questions that were asked, and whether those were the right questions, and whether or not those questions needed to be asked under those circumstances.
Political parties may be impressed with Amissah-Arthur's performance. However, it is the appointment committee's call to either approve or disapprove his appointment.
Well, earlier as Kwesi Amissah-Arthur's vetting proceeded, our news team hit town to sample views from a cross-section of people, from political figures to the ordinary Ghanaian.
We touched down first at the National Democratic Congress Party's headquarters. As evidence outside the building, it looks busy, but virtually it was empty within its walls. Few occupants we met described themselves as friends of the NDC, sympathizing with them. Some were also gathered at a reception in readiness to watch the live proceedings from Parliament. When I met with the national organizer of the NDC, Yao Boating-Jan, I began by asking him if the party had reservations about Amissah-Arthur's public vetting.
Parliament is doing the right thing, under the Republican Constitution. And whether he should be vetted, publicly, that is one thing that some of us, are contesting, because we have somebody like the Speaker of Parliament, and we know how this person is nominated by the president, but it's vetted by Parliament in camera. So we were thinking that, being the number 2 man, he could have also been vetted in camera, but not in public as we see now.
He expressed optimism on the choice of Amissah-Arthur as vice president, saying the party's future is bright towards the 2012 polls.
Those of us who are kids know him. We know him as our colleague, and people are saying that we cannot sell him. And let me tell you that he will be marketable more than even somebody who was never known. Our opponents, Bawumia, somebody even, accepted today, an MPP person that I was watching on one of the TV says, accepted today that if it is politics, then of course Kwesi Amissah-Arthur is way ahead of Bawumia. But they are going around marketing Bawumia, so we won't have any problem marketing somebody like Kwesi Amissah-Arthur, because he's known.
At the NDC headquarters, we bumped into the 2008 flag bearer of the Democratic Freedom Party, DFP. Emmanuel Ansad Entry was there to sign a book of condolence and praised Ghanaians for showing maturity toward a smooth transition following the demise of Professor Mills.
It has brought unity among Ghanaians. So in a way, this president has died in a time whereby, well, let's say he has put himself as a sacrificial lamb for the country, whereby he has brought all Ghanaians, irrespective of our political affiliation, brought it together so that we're able to mourn him. And I believe that immediately after we've buried this president, this thing has to continue so that there will be peace, building up to the time that we do the December election.
CPP's flag bearer, Abu Sakara, shared views of his colleague from the DFP.
It is a testimony to the gradual but certain evolution of the democratic process and the institutions that uphold it, that under an experience which we've never had before, each and everyone was able to play his role, and that the institutions functioned as they should do. So we can give ourselves a small pat on the back, especially the judiciary, and the Speaker of the House, as well as the security agencies and all the other parliamentarians, and in particular to the opposition parties. We must not forget that they have conducted themselves with an exemplary sense of unity to support.
We also spoke to the Minister of Communications, Haruna Idrisu.
I have no fear of contradiction in saying that if we get him approved and subsequently sworn in to office by the Chief Justice and in Parliament, we would have demonstrated that Ghana has managed its transition even better than the United States, with over 200 years of democratic practice. From the Nixon-Ford era, we've had instances where for 3 years there was vacancy in the office of the Vice President of the United States. In Ghana, this is not more than 14 days, so we can pride ourselves as doing much more better.
On its streets, though, only a few people knew of Kwesi Amissah-Arthur.
He's a very fine gentleman, a very cool and collected person. Yeah, and very, very friendly if you get to know him.
I think he deserved the position of the Vice President. I think the guy is good. The man is good. He's good.
Since he was the governor of Bank of Ghana, I didn't see his much input into our economic system, because you can see the rising of the dollar against the cedi and the pounds, even all the foreign currencies, and the cedi is totally depreciated.
We should give him a trial, so that for the next 5 months we see what he can do for us.
We can't judge him based on who he is. Maybe there's something more to it than we see. So let's see what the future holds for us.
It's a good all the way. It's okay.
Just pray that Ghanaians rally around him and give him the support, especially his own party.
Majority of people who spoke to the news team appreciated the appointment committee of Parliament for vetting Mr. Amissah-Arthur in public, so that people will get to know their new Vice President before Parliament gives him the nod.
Meanwhile, the tendency of an electioneering year coupled with the demise of a sitting president poses a major threat to any economy. But President John Dramani Mahama has assured corporate Ghana he will work with them to maintain a stable macroeconomy. Gifty Andoapia has more.
President Mahama was addressing the Private Enterprises Foundation, which paid a courtesy call on him to sympathize and congratulate him on the assumption of office, as other institutions have done. The group, consisting of Oil Marketing Association, Bankers Association, Insurance Association, Real Estate Developers, Chartered Institute of Marketing, Chamber of Commerce, and the Employers Association of Ghana, was led by its president, Mr. Asari Akufu.
The laws could have affected the business community, but with you still in charge here, we know that the interaction will continue on the same basis. You are no stranger to the business community. As I said, you chaired our interactions at the castle. The meetings were always very cordial. I know you are someone who understands the challenges that businesses face here. You made us very welcome at all these meetings. We know you have what it takes to hold and direct the ship of state.
Government has certain commitments to the people of Ghana to create jobs, to expand the economy and grow it in order to give our people a more decent and dignified life. And the only way that we can achieve this is if your jobs are doing well and you're expanding production, you're employing more people. When it gets to an election year, you have a certain cyclical pressure on the economy that makes you lose a bit of ground. And so we must find solutions to that. We can't continue to have a certain 4-year cycle where we have some, dislocation of economic stability, because eventually it is business that suffers. And when business suffers, everybody suffers.
President Mahama said he will honor the memory of the late president by fulfilling his wish of building the capacity of the private sector. The Old Vandals Association, who described the president as their brother, was also there as an expression of concern to what has befallen the country. They re-echoed their unwavering support to President Mahama in all his endeavors. In a moment of lightness, the president recalled their days as Vandals at the University of Ghana.
When I was in Commonwealth Hall, he was the chairman of the amalgamated clubs. And so he was in charge of all sporting activity on campus. Even for some of the controversial sports where, you know, sometimes when Commonwealth were losing, we went and hijacked the cup and things, you know. Prof was, you know, the overall supervisor of many of those events, you know. I have no doubt that in doing this, I can count on the support of my fellow Vandals. I have always enjoyed your total. I've always enjoyed your total support, and I know that even at this time, you know, when the responsibility is even heavier, I know that I can count on your support going forward.
We want to assure him that we are solidly behind him. Like his own roommate said in his piece last week, that His Excellency woke up on Tuesday as vice president, and he went to bed as president that same day. And that is the will of God. And we know the good Lord is solidly behind him. And we have come to express our support, our open support, and that whatever he's doing, we also remember him in our prayers.
Indeed, the Vandals brought to him beams of much-needed smiles and laughter. Reporting for Joy News, Gifty Ando Apia, Castle.
Well, let's do some business now, because there are indications that government agencies and departments will this week begin accessing funds from the Finance Ministry to support their spending plans for the next half of 2012. But before this could happen, an astute retired economist, Dr. Emmanuel Jackson, has taken a huge swipe at government for failing to plan properly.
For some time now, governments of the day have become used to seeking approval for supplementary budgets on a yearly basis to augment the main budget for the year. On July 21, government sought approval for an additional 2.6 billion cedis to supplement the 19 billion Ghana cedis already approved in the 2012 budget. A chunk of the spending will be on public sector wages, subsidies on utilities, petroleum products, the elections and some social intervention programs. The supplementary budget was approved last Friday, but an economist says Ghana is treading dangerously.
If you are giving the supplementary budget, it means that the expenditures we had in mind, which will give us a level of inflation, will be exceeded. And what do you do? And when it happens, you'll be struggling to get money, to via money from somewhere to be used somewhere else. And that will cause the problem in the system.
According to Dr. Jackson, it is the inability of government to plan that results in the need for supplementary budgets.
It gives that indication that you didn't plan well. Or if you plan well, you didn't use the money well. See, either in your operation or in your planning. It gives a wrong impression, you know. And it's not good. We must always be able to anticipate problems, incorporate them in our budgets. And then when the budgets are approved, we execute the budget to the letter. If even there should be supplementary, it should be supplementary that should be justifiable. You know, and it should be minor. Adenta, for a long time, we haven't had water. Somebody has been sacked from the government. Somebody from Water and Sewage was sacked some time ago, you remember? So we don't have water.
Government is this year hoping to spend a little over 21 billion Ghana cedis on public wages and salaries, public services maintenance, and administration and investment infrastructure. However, the MMDAs are never able to account for how they spent the money or justify why they should be given additional budget.
Before we come out with budgets, all ministries, departments, and agencies, they come they bring their budgets to Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning. They come and defend the budget, and then we approve the ceilings before they start spending. But you know, many of them, ministries, departments, and agencies, when they come for budget hearing, they are not able to justify the amounts they have put in the budget. Oh, last year I was given 10 million. This year, inflation has gone. I want 15 million. When you ask them, what are you going to do with the 15 million? And how did you use the 10 million? They are found wanting. They are not able to justify, to explain with reports, progress report of what they used the 10 million for.
2012 supplementary budget has already gone through, but it remains to be seen if authorities will be kept on their toes so as to prevent a 2011 a 2013 supplementary budget.
Hello there, good evening. Time now for the latest in the world of sports. I'm Rashida Kadiri, and Ghana's sole representatives at this year's CAF Champions League, Brekum Chelsea, arrived home earlier today from Egyptian capital, Cairo. Joy Sports caught up with the team on arrival and at the Kotoka International Airport. Brekum Chelsea recorded their first defeat in the CAF Champions League against six-time champions Al Ahly, who beat the 10-man Ghana side 4-1. At the Military Academy Stadium in the Egyptian capital on Saturday behind closed doors. Chelsea have slipped to third in Group B but tied on 4 points with Congolese giants TP Mazembe, who are second on the table. Al Ahly still keep their top spot with 9 points, while Zamalek are bottom of the table with no point. Hans van der Ploem, who is head coach of Brekum Chelsea, says he is immediately focusing on making changes to his left and right full-backs who are all on suspension from red cards.
Yeah, what we are looking at it is that we are now have two suspended players, Kessie and Ajiman. Dus we have to bring a new left and right fullback in. That is first. And that we improve, and I say it again, what I said it last too, on our mistake in defensive way. It is the communication and maybe it is the inexperience too. But we have to show it and that it is not happening again. Now the confidence level with us, coaches, management is still there. So that is what we have to bring over to the players. That is what I said after the match. You lost a battle, but you didn't lose the war. And that is important because we have to be positive and try to get 3 points in our upcoming match.
And on that note, we end Joy News at 8 on a night when Kwesi Amissah-Arthur became the Vice President. My name is Evans Mensah.
And I'm Derek Walalong Johnson. Join us again at 11 p.m.